find out who I am.
Oh, really? Who are you?
Who's gonna take care of me?
You don't think I'm gonna take care of you?
But when you die...
There are films that entertain us, there are films that challenge us, and then there are films that go so far into the darkness that the actors who entered them never truly came back. Some productions demand everything from the people who step onto their sets: body, mind, sleep, and sanity. Sometimes even their lives. Because when a director pushes beyond the usual limits, when the story demands.
Get it just for a small beat, not too long, but before you rise, like settle on it and then rise. That's perfect. And a little bit slower to the window would be great.
Okay.
Thank you. This is
Emotional collapse or physical destruction. The damage does not stay in the script. It reaches out of the screen. It rewires the actors. It stains the set. And in a few terrifying cases, the production itself seems to turn against the people making it, leaving behind injuries, fires, unexplained accidents, and real deaths that still haunt the industry.
Alec Baldwin shot and killed a woman with a prop gun on the set of his latest movie today.
Tonight we follow the trail of 5 films so disturbing that they broke or cursed their actors in real life. But we start at the end of the list, and the deeper we go, the darker it becomes. So take a breath now, because the moment we begin, there is no turning back. You are about to see what happens when an actor transforms so far beyond human limits that even the crew began to fear what they were looking at.
Stevie, I haven't slept in a year.
Christian Bale has always been known as a committed actor, but when he signed on for The Machinist, he made a decision that pushed him beyond anything he had ever attempted before. The script described a factory worker who had not slept for a full year, a man drifting through reality like a ghost. A man whose body looked as though it was eating itself. Bale knew the only way to portray that truthfully was to transform completely, and he did. When pre-production began, he weighed around 80 kilograms. Healthy, strong, fit, but he starved himself with frightening discipline. He stopped eating real meals. He reduced his intake to 1 apple per day and a cup of coffee. For months. This was not a diet. This was starvation. Slow, intentional, relentless.
Do I?
$20 for coffee and pie?
And entertainment.
Entertainment.
You.
His weight fell all the way down to 54 kilograms. Bones jutted from beneath his skin. His face hollowed out. His collarbones protruded sharply enough that makeup artists said they felt uneasy touching him. He began experiencing chronic insomnia. He stopped sleeping more than a few minutes at a time. Night and day blurred together. Thoughts drifted without direction. Reality became thin. Crew members noticed that he seemed to be fading mentally. He avoided conversations.
For us to make it look like the U.S., we've kind of filmed in all of the worst areas of Barcelona.
He moved slowly. He stared at the floor. His breathing was shallow. He no longer resembled the man they had worked with before. Some said he seemed lost. Others said he felt haunted. A few admitted that they were afraid for him. Doctors have since explained that at that level of weight loss, the body begins to cannibalize muscle tissue, including the heart. Bale was putting himself at danger of cardiac failure every single day. But he pushed on, driven by the belief that the character had to look genuinely broken. He has spoken about the hallucinations he experienced. He said shadows shifted in the corners of the room. He thought he heard footsteps behind him while he stood alone. His mind began inventing movement where there was none. When filming wrapped, he did not return to normal life. Instead, he had to force his body in the opposite direction. He gained nearly 50 kilograms to play Batman in Batman Begins.
And so Batman actually, he's very close to being a villain himself. So let's never let him become dull by comparison.
His body went from starvation to a rapid surge of muscle. The physical shock was extreme. This transformation, this spiral into self-inflicted damage, became a turning point in Hollywood discussions about actor safety. Many people still believe no actor should follow the path Bale took. But if this was only the 5th darkest production, what could the others have possibly done to their actors? because the next film pushed its lead into a realm of emotional collapse that did not end when the cameras stopped rolling.
All together there. At the end.
Hereditary is now considered one of the most emotionally devastating horror films ever created. But for Alex Wolff, who played a grieving teenager spiraling into terror, the role left a mark that lasted long after production ended. The film contains one of the most shocking scenes in modern cinema. The pole scene, a moment so sudden and brutal that audiences gasped aloud in theaters. That scene changed the genre, but it also changed Alex Wolff. When filming began, Alex told director Ari Aster something bold. He said, "Do not cut. No matter how overwhelmed I get, no matter how distressed I become."
The characters, I think we all sort of molded into what the characters' relationships were, or at least I did. I don't know, I think it's a little easier if you keep
the camera rolling. He wanted to stay inside the emotional collapse. He wanted the panic to be real. He wanted to surrender control. And he did. During several scenes, his panic spiraled into genuine terror. His breathing became irregular. His voice cracked. His limbs trembled on their own. He slammed his hand against the desk with such force that he injured himself. The fear on his face in certain moments is not acting. It is a young man who has given a piece of his mind to the film and cannot get it back. Crew members described those moments as disturbing to watch, not because of the scene itself, but because they felt Alex slipping into a place he might not be able to climb out of. When filming wrapped, the collapse did not end. Alex developed severe insomnia. He lay awake for hours each night. His thoughts raced uncontrollably. He began experiencing panic attacks so intense that he felt trapped in his own body.
It's a truly disturbing movie on a kind of visceral level. And I hope that it makes people miserable is the goal.
He described feeling disconnected from himself, as if he were floating outside his own mind, as if his identity had been shaken loose from its anchor. He later said, "I left part of myself in that movie." Even now, years later, he still speaks about the emotional cost of the role. That film did not simply push him, it changed him, it followed him home. But there is a difference between emotional pain and physical suffering captured in real time. And the next film on our list contains a moment so painful, so genuine, that the actress still lives with the injury today. Her pain was not scripted, and the camera recorded every second.
Mr. Rabinowitz, I couldn't do that. Harry's my only child. He's all I have. Thank you, Mr. Rabinowitz.
Requiem for a Dream is one of the most harrowing portrayals of addiction ever filmed. Every character descends into obsession, into desperation, and ruin. But Ellen Burstyn, who delivered one of the greatest performances of her career, paid a very real price for the role. There is a moment in the film where her character is thrown backward onto a couch with force. The stunt team used a wire rig to pull her quickly, creating a violent jerk. It was supposed to be controlled. It was supposed to be safe. But something went wrong. The wire was pulled too hard and too fast. Burstyn's body whipped backward with brutal force. She hit the ground in a way no human body should.
And I hadn't seen that film in 18 years. And I was so impressed. What a great film it is. I realized that
the shock of pain that shoots across her face in that moment is not acting. It is real. Her back was injured instantly. Director Darren Aronofsky did not call cut. He kept rolling. He kept filming the aftermath. He later admitted that the raw agony in her expression was impossible to replicate. He used the take. Ellen Burstyn continued filming the rest of the movie, but the pain never subsided. She has spoken many times about the injury. She said, "The pain you see in that scene is real. I never wanted to relive it."
there's a scene in the movie that we did, I would say, about 7 takes.
I still feel the nerve damage. The moment that viewers praise the moment, often used in acting classes to demonstrate emotional truth, was created through actual physical suffering. It raises a question that echoes through Hollywood to this day. How far is too far? When does realism become harm? But that question becomes even darker in our next segment, Because in our second film, injury was only the beginning, and the production became so plagued with accidents and death that even priests began to fear something beyond the script. The Exorcist was more than a horror movie. For many, it became a real haunting.
You really don't want me to play?
Captain Howdy said no.
Who's Captain Howdy?
The Exorcist is widely regarded as one of the most terrifying films ever made. But the horror did not stay on the screen. It surrounded the production, and it affected nearly everyone involved. It began with the injuries. Linda Blair was only a teenager when she filmed the violent convulsion scene. She was strapped to a mechanical rig designed to jolt her body. The rig malfunctioned. Her spine twisted violently. She screamed, a scream so real, so filled with agony that the director kept it in the final cut. She damaged her back so severely that she suffered chronic pain for years.
Each time we came to a different part of the demonic possession, it got harder and harder. It wasn't so bad prior to the heavy makeup, but each time the demon did something.
Ellen Burstyn, playing her mother, experienced her own injury during a scene where she is pulled to the floor. The cable yanked her so hard that her spine snapped backward. She landed in agony. Her scream, also in the final cut, is the sound of real suffering.
It was the acting coup. I mean, everybody wanted that role. It was a very successful book.
But the injuries were only the beginning. One night, a fire broke out on the set. It destroyed almost everything: walls, furniture, equipment, and costumes. All gone, but one room survived untouched. The bedroom where the demon scenes take place. The flames swept through the entire building, but did not lay a single finger on that space. The crew felt something was wrong, very wrong. Many were frightened enough to ask for a blessing. A priest came to the set. He prayed. He walked through the wreckage. He said, "There is something dark here." Even director William Friedkin admitted later, "There were things I cannot explain." Then the deaths began. Jack McGowan, who played Burke Dennings, died shortly after completing his scenes. Vasiliki Maliaros, the actress who played the elderly mother, also died before the film's release. Linda Blair's brother was killed in an accident. 2 crew members died during filming. The radiologist who appears in the hospital scene was later revealed to be a murderer. By the end of production, 9 deaths were linked to the film. Not all were mysterious, but the number and the timing cast a shadow that never faded. Audiences felt it too. Reports of fainting, panic attacks, alleged heart attacks in theaters. Priests called to cleanse cinemas. People believed they were watching more than a movie.
I had interviewed over 500 girls before I found Linda Blair. She was an extraordinarily gifted natural actress.
They believed they were witnessing something that should never have been filmed. But as cursed as this production seemed, the final film on our list contains something even more disturbing. Because in that final film, the suffering was not an accident. It was deliberate. It was engineered. It was systematic. Destruction as a directing technique. Stanley Kubrick did not wait for darkness to appear. He created it.
Here's Johnny!
The Shining is considered a masterpiece, but behind the camera. Stanley Kubrick orchestrated one of the darkest behind-the-scenes methods ever recorded. His primary target was Shelley Duvall. Kubrick believed that true terror could not be faked. He believed an actress needed to be genuinely exhausted, genuinely frightened, genuinely unraveling to deliver the performance he wanted. So he broke her, slowly, intentionally. He isolated her from the cast and crew. She spent most of the production alone. No one was allowed to comfort her, no one to reassure her, no one to help her recover between takes. He demanded take after take, sometimes more than 100 repetitions, until her nerves were shredded. Her body reacted. Her hair began to fall out in clumps. Stress caused her hands to shake uncontrollably. She cried constantly. She barely slept. Crew members said they could see her mentally deteriorating.
I had never done more than, say, 15 takes before in my life. So it was a great change for me to do so many.
They said she looked lost, drained, fragile, as though the film was hollowing her out from the inside. Kubrick filmed everything, even the moments backstage where she struggled, where she broke down, where she seemed unable to continue. Shelley Duvall later said, "It was almost unbearable." Her career never fully recovered. Her health suffered for years. Her spirit was wounded in a way that still sparks debate today. Was it genius or cruelty? Art or abuse? The Shining stands as a masterpiece, but its legacy is forever stained by what it did to the woman at its center.
Whatever. I mean, there were times where I felt a bit jealous because he got very, very much attention.
And it stands at number one because this was not an accident, not a malfunction, not a curse, but a direct choice to cause psychological harm for the sake of a film. These 5 productions pushed beyond the boundaries of filmmaking. They pushed into the territory of human suffering, where bodies collapsed, where minds fractured, where unexplained events shadowed entire sets, and where reality and horror intertwined. Cinema did not just advance through these films. It was paid for in pain, fear, broken bones, and broken lives. Some of the actors came back. Some did not. Some never fully healed. Some still carry the scars. These movies changed the industry and changed the people who made them. If you made it to the end of this journey and you want something even darker, go watch the next video, hit like, and subscribe. Because the nightmare does not end here. It only gets worse.